He puts his home value at $14,433.
I told you Form 6 is dangerous. We're going to dig into Don the Con's Form 6, which is on the internet for anyone and everyone to see. To run for town council in Otter Creek, you must file Form 6, which is a financial disclosure. The aspect of it is complete and total transparency. Something Russ the Suss and Don the Con are completely and totally against. It's trying to make sure there's a checks and balance system to make sure there's no paying off of or getting favors. Although Russ the Suss is known for a different type of favor in Otter Creek to get your water turned back on. So if we take a look here at the Florida Commission on Ethics, I'm right here, Florida Commission on Ethics. I've punched in everything for Otter Creek, and we can see here 2023 Don Severino, Otter Creek. We've got Form 1 with COE, Form 6, filed January 11th. Now, it looks like Vice Mayor Zim, no form is filed yet or in the system. Also, Russell Meeks, no file formed yet in the system. So of all of the 5 incoming members, only one individual's information is currently available for review, and that's Don's. And as it says, it was uploaded on January 11th. Now we can click on View Filings. Now I've shared this in the past. This is, in my opinion, intrusive, invasive, in all aspects, very dangerous. But Don has done it, and therefore we have every legal right to look. And you have to also understand, Don's got a lot of enemies out there, and if he did anything wrong, violations could be up to $20,000. All right, so let's take a peek here. I'm gonna pull up file Form 6 for Don Severino. Okay, it is 4 pages. Now, the beginning of the pages, we'll take a peek right here. All of this is public information. Don Severino, town of Otter Creek. I am covering his address. I don't know why. I mean, Otter Creek is 100 people. Everybody knows where he lives. Just look for the pile of junk, okay? Look for the pile of junk. We're also going to take a look at Laura Mott, or Not for Mott, here today as well. So he claims, as you can see here, my net worth as of December 31st, 2023 is $60,783. All right, so page 1, we get a net worth summary. And Don's claiming his complete and total net worth is $60,000 plus. Now, you may be thinking, but he has everything in his wife's name. Yep, that's true. But in Florida, even though it's in his wife's name, he has to claim it. If he's done this inappropriately or illegally, fines start coming. I'm going to go ahead and scroll down to page 2 now. Now, in his assets, okay, page 2 is about the assets, and I'm going to share with you what the assets are. He says household goods and personal effects may be reported in a lump sum if their aggregated value exceeds $1,000. Remember, everything over $1,000 must be reported. This category includes any of the following, if not held for investment purposes: jewelry, collections of stamps, firearms, pneumatic or coin collection, art objects, household equipment, furnishings. Do you understand that most people's couches cost over $1,000 and you've got to list it? I mean, this is mind-blowing. Clothing. You have to report your clothing. Any other household items and vehicles, and whether owned or leased. The aggregated value of my household goods and personal effects, Don the Con places right here. You can see it. He says it's $22,000. So everything he owns in his home, he's stating $22,000. Okay. So this is a major concern for me, and frankly, it should be for Don as well, because now he's told everybody in Otter Creek he has $22,000 worth of items within his home. Now, Otter Creek is a major hub. Well, it used to be a major hub for trade, for business, for living, and now it's a major hub for rug addicts and rug dealing and rug selling and rug using. I mean, there's a rug house almost on every corner. As a matter of fact, there are other people who film that do not live in Otter Creek, and they park at a known rug house when they go to town hall meetings and want to pretend like they're somehow innocent. And there are those who theorize that, well, maybe they don't want cameras, maybe they don't want people in Otter Creek because they don't want the rug business exposed. Agreed. Absolutely agreed. So now Don the Con has placed all of his information out on the internet for anyone all over the planet to find. And now everyone knows that he has $22,000 worth of items in his home. Except you have to ask the question, is it real? Is Don the Con conning the state of Florida? Is Don the Con conning the county of Levy County? It's Don the Con conning the residents of Otter Creek. Is this even real? And if it's challenged, and if it's reported, and it's found that he was not being honest and truthful, $20,000 fine. In other words, he's claiming he has $22,000 worth of items. To pay the fine, he has to sell almost all of it except for $2,000 worth of it. That's what he gets to keep. So whatever the $2,000 is, his whole house is empty except for $2,000 of whatever he thinks. He's probably going to hold on to a stash. I'm curious if he actually claimed a stash or not. But I'm going to keep going on here. So now he has to list his description of assets in this form, okay? And so he lists his home, which is in his wife's name, but he must list it based on the laws in Florida. He puts his home as valued as $14,433. Now, how he gets that value, I'm sure he probably went to the Levy County Auditor's site. As a matter of fact, let's go there now and check.
He puts his home value at $14,433.
If we jump on the Levy County Auditor site,
the value is actually $14,866.
Now, this is the first description that we are finding in Don's Form 6. So already he could actually be held viable and liable for a $20,000 fine. But he also, if we look on Form 6, he has other tracts of property.
He has another tract over here valued at $4,100 and another at $3,500.
Let's take a look at those as well. Discrepancy number 2. He lists this
0.3 acres for $4,100 and the auditor has it for
$4,509. Discrepancy number 3. He lists this other
piece of property, a quarter of an acre, for $3,500, and yet
the auditor has it for $3,798. We're just getting started, and we've already found 3 discrepancies on his Form 6. Now, if we add all of those together as violations, that's $60,000. Let's look at his other disclosed assets and income.
Capital City Bank, he says he has $2,200.
Now, I'm curious of whether he actually got that money yet for that fire truck. I'm also curious, did he claim his actual school bus and all the other garbage sitting in his yard? Okay,
we've got Seacoast Bank. Seacoast Bank, he says he has $5,250.
Again, I can't prove this or disprove this, but
we also have Metropolitan Life Control Account. He has $9,300.
That's quite a bit of assets there for Don the Con. Frankly, it's more than I actually anticipated or expected. Now, the other thing you have to list on Form 6 is all your liabilities. So let's say Don the Con buys $1 million house, and Don the Con still owes $750,000 on that house. Well, Don the Con has to list liabilities of $750,000. So here's the great part about Don the Con's financial standing. He has no liabilities listed. Now, I can't prove or disprove whether that is true or not. But you have to understand, Don is the one that's put himself in the place to be under the scrutiny of people such as myself and the rest of the planet. One false piece of information, and that means fines, and that means, is it really worth having a town council in Otter Creek? Because the planet is watching, and the planet is looking, and the planet is doing exactly what Levy County Sheriff Department said. If you see something, say something. Now we're getting into his income, and that's something that should be kept secret, right? Except Form 6 says absolutely not. It should be public to everyone. And therefore, while it may feel to me right now like I'm crossing a boundary, it is 100% legal. And I'm trying to prove a point. This is not okay. Even though we're looking at Don the Con, and when Laura Motz comes up, we're going to look at Laura Motz. And when everybody else's comes up, no doubt the planet is going to look at everybody else's. But it feels so intrusive. It feels as if it's nobody's business. And this is why Madam Mayor Therese stepped down. Because it isn't anybody's business, except the law has made it everybody's business. And frankly, Don the Con has made it everybody's business. The man could have stepped down. The man who actually wanted to unincorporate Otter Creek could have moved forward to actually doing that, and therefore none of this information would be available to anybody. So we're still going to look. All right, what do we have here as far as sources of income? He receives Social Security from the U.S. government. He receives $13,200 on a yearly amount. He receives Veterans Admin from the U.S. government. He receives $5,400 on a yearly to date. Otter Creek Town Council. I mean, this kind of feels silly even posting this, but you have to, right? Otter Creek Town Council, Town of Otter Creek, $1,200. Well, that may be a little shy this year if they keep not having meetings, right? Because Russ and Don just want to walk out because they want to sabotage the town moving forward. This is his posted income. I'm not okay with my income being posted, and I realize there are plenty of people out there trying to project what my income is. It's very easy. My income is zero. Now, many people out there theorize as well, if you take all your assets and you put it all into an LLC, then you show no assets and no income whatsoever. Well, I can tell you as a person that has multiple LLCs that that is not the truth. You still have all of those assets and the income, and it has to be shown and it has to be accounted for on Form 6. You can't just go, I'm going to put it all over here and it will be unseen. Wrong. Everything must be shown. Complete, total transparency, 100%. And the world now knows because Don the Con filled it out. And yet Russell Meeks didn't. Laura Mott didn't even yet. Vice Mayor Zim didn't. Joe didn't. Carl didn't yet. To my understanding, I have not asked these individuals. It's not filed on the website yet. Now, once they do file, which I believe they have, is it June 1st or July 1st? I think it's June 1st. I think they have until June 1st to actually get it all filed and in. And then it will all be public information. Or, the other weird thing that could happen is they actually jump on the town council for a month or two and then go, nope, Form 6, I'm out. In other words, the next meeting, which would be May, they would be seated in May unless a special election, or it's not even an election, a special meeting is called. or an emergency meeting, which to date, there has not been one notified yet. We checked the boards yesterday. No emergency meeting, no special meeting yet. So it looks like May meeting, everybody will be seated, and they could actually be there for, really a week, because it's the third Tuesday in every month where the meeting happens. Laura Mott could show up for 1 week and then go, I'm not filling out Form 6, I'm gone, and only serve for a week. And the entire town council would have to be dissolved because nobody will fill out the form. One person has done it so far, Don the Con. But we know that won't happen because they actually had to fill out Form 6 to pre-qualify to be a candidate. So their forms have been filled out. They're just not uploaded on the internet yet. I don't know when they will be, but we'll figure that out once that time comes. So page 3, it asks training. What training have you had? And it says, based on the office or the position you hold, the certification of training required under section 112.3142 FS is not applicable to you for this form this year. All right, signature of reporting. It says Don Severino. As you can see here, this is his electronic signature and when he did it. You can file this all online. You can do it in paper or file online. And that is Don the Con's information. So as you can see there, we already found 3 discrepancies based on the value of his properties. And who knows what other discrepancies could be found if this is actually investigated and then he's fined. And then what could happen? Well, he could never, ever run for town council again. But the reality is, do we really need anybody running for a town council in Otter Creek? Could you imagine what LIEnette's Form 6 looked like? Well, she actually started to fill out information, and then she pulled all of her information. She claimed she was making well over $100, and I believe it was $86,000. I don't have it in my hands right now. And you say, Jeremy, how do you know this? Well, we FOIA'd it because she's claimed in court. She's paralyzed to her property, and yet here she is trying to run for town hall. She's seen in town at the rug store with a child in a running vehicle. Do you have any idea how many seconds it takes for a massive accident to happen? The child who she claims is out of control, the child who she claims is a runner, a child who she claims she has to put on melatonin throughout the day because she can't handle it, can unbuckle herself, put the car in gear, run through the store, create any other kind of accident. This is why it is 100% illegal in Florida and most every other state to leave any child in a running vehicle at any time. Now, it's funny that there are those out there that would claim that Florida gives 15 minutes grace period. There is no grace for an accident, and there is no grace for a running vehicle. This is why accidents happen. It was 100% illegal. The child should have never, ever been left alone in the vehicle. Ever! And CPS, I know so many have asked, has CPS been contacted? Was Department of Children and Families contacted? Listen, we shared the information with you. We didn't share whether they were contacted or not. So to make assumptions and stating, oh, the person who got this information did not contact, that's a little foolish on your part viewing. But let's put this back into perspective. LIEnette is out there claiming on her Form 6, and wait, let's back up. In court, she's paralyzed to her property.
And she told the judge of child napping.
Okay, and she's concerned about child napping, and yet here she is leaving a child in a running vehicle in Chiefland, in one of the poorest communities in all of Florida. And yet, she's somehow concerned. Doesn't look too concerned for me. And yes, Jessica and Olga, the biological aunts, have all of this information. And yes, they are moving forward. And yes, LIEnette will be served any day now. And yes, there are so many other questions as well. Let's get back to the main point. Number one, she illegally, 100% illegal, to leave a child in a vehicle in Florida for even a portion of a second with a vehicle running is 100% illegal. And anybody who would actually try and stand up and try and support that LIEnette did this is a fool and is an individual that supports neglect of children and probably children napping, and probably accidents. Could you imagine what kind of accident could have happened where deaths could have occurred? I mean, it's just insanity. Complete and total insanity. But we're going to get back to the filing. All right. So Form 6. LIEnette starts to actually file it. She screws it up. She puts a bunch of zeros at the end. And this is the individual that Russ The Suss wants to fire Belinda and put LIEnette in. He'll never get the opportunity. She'll never get the opportunity.
She'll charge people water like 10 times the amount.
Well, Mary was doing 100 times the amount, so I guess that's better than what Mary was doing. So let's take a look at LIEnette's other paperwork. We've got the Florida Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services here. Solicitation for contributions, okay? This is information she must fill out on a yearly basis to receive donations. And she has habitually, pathologically lied yet again. Now we can see here she filled this out February of 2023. All right, this is what we're looking at. And what she has to report is all money coming in and all money expenses going out. So we've got campaigns, 0. Fundraising events, 0. Related organizations, 0. By the way, it's just going to keep going. We've got government, 0. Other contributions, gifts, grants, 0. In kind. Do you understand in kind means? If I gift this TV tray to George, this is an in kind gift. That's what a physical gift is called. It's legally called in kind. Now, LIEnette is posted all over the internet. CROOK has even posted all over the internet. Oh, thanks for the donation for the pool liner. Thanks for this. Thanks for that. And what does she do? Pathologically, habitually lied that they received nothing in kind. Right here, 0. Pathological, illegal lie. And it goes on. Boy, could you imagine? Oh my goodness, could you imagine if LIEnette was part of town council? Oh, programs and services, 0, 0, 0, 0. It just keeps going. She put 0 on everything, absolutely everything. Now, this is illegal what she did. She lied on all of this. And then she goes for expenses. This is the funny part. Expenses is down here. She put 0 on everything. Okay, so she's
So no pellets.
501c3.
No heaters.
So here she is soliciting, begging everybody for money, for help. So apparently she had no expenses though. So if we are to take her for her word, her turtle rescue, which is not a rescue, it's a purgatory, has absolutely no expenses of food, for hay, for anything, for materials, for supplies. And right now she's begging for rubber mats, horse mats, which you understand and I understand, but she's too stupid that if the turtles eat those mats, they will die. Of course, why does she care? They're dying left and right anyway. So she's stating there are no expenses whatsoever.
Not even vet cost?
Nothing. Management in general, 0. Fundraising, 0. Total expenses, 0. Program services, 0, 0, 0, 0. So she got no money, she got no physical gifts, and she had no expenses. Pathological lying at its best, yet again, on government documents. Let's take a little look at Not for Mott, otherwise known as Laura Mott. So when we first got to Otter Creek, Russ The Suss was the mayor. Then the town voted in, believe it or not, I know this is hard to believe. In the very first year, the town voted in Don the Con. And Russ The Suss actually manipulated Don to step down and not fill the role, and Russ The Suss stayed. And then Russ The Suss manipulated things to where Laura Mott was then voted in as the mayor. Interesting enough. Now, Laura Mott has never been mayor before, and yet there are individuals such as CROOK and LIEnette, Russ The Suss, Don the Con, who stated that Madam Mayor should have never been mayor because she was never mayor before. Well, this is where it gets really ironic because Laura Mott is acting mayor. Russ The Suss and Mary actually know they've stolen from me. As a matter of fact, let's look back at that right now. Why am I, as a resident of Otter Creek, being charged $50 for something that just out of the blue you guys pulled and went, okay, I'm going to charge him $50?
Well,
Who-
take it up with the council.
So who made that decision?
The council didn't, because I've already talked to council members, some of them. So the council doesn't know anything about this. Some of those members, who told you to bill me at $50 a month? Am I the only one in town with a 2-inch meter?
There's one other.
Who's the other?
Oh. Well.
Covered their theft. While I'm in Ohio, they pass a new water resolution when Laura Mott is the actual, she's the mayor. And they put it in front of her to sign. She has no clue what she's doing, first of all. She has no common sense in regards to what's going to happen because she's being used and manipulated by Russ the Suss and Mary to cover up their tracks. So is she innocent in this? The reality is she is a victim in this, to my understanding, because I have 6,000 emails that prove this was all being done behind the scenes, and they're just getting Laura Mott's signature on it as the acting mayor, even though Laura truly wasn't the mayor. Russ the Suss was telling her what to do. But then she steps down to run for county commissioner. So she's never been an acting mayor before. Now she's going to step down during her tenure as mayor of Otter Creek to run for commissioner. Well, why does Russ the Suss want Laura Mott to do that? So that Russ the Suss can then be mayor of Otter Creek again. Which, by the way, Laura Mott could have been Otter Creek mayor and town commissioner both at the same time. She did not have to step down. Russ wanted her to step down. So let's look at her campaign trail for county commissioner. Now everybody's wondering, who is not for Mott? Who's Laura Mott? And you're going to already say it. I did not see that woman at that meeting. Frankly, I had the same conversation with the individuals. I was like, where's Laura Mott? Where's not for Mott? And they're like, that's her. And I was like, what? I don't know what's going on in her life, but it must not be. Well, let's just keep going on. I didn't recognize her either. So, candidate profile. This is the Chiefland citizen who's done articles on What the Hales in regards to Otter Creek, in regards to Christmas in the Creek. So, this is an interesting article. And I think Laura Mott just writes in her answers. And frankly, I'm going to warn you ahead of time. It's like being in third grade. You ask a question and normal conversation, you don't repeat the question in your answer. You just give the answer. But yet, this article, she repeats the question. I'll show you. So it says name of candidate. And you'll see these are the questions that were asked, okay? Again, this is all public information. And Laura Mott is the one that is putting herself up for scrutiny. So let's be very clear that anybody who runs for candidate, anybody who's on the town council, you have freedom of speech, and they are in a position of complete and total scrutiny. They can be criticized for anything and everything. You can use foul language to describe them as long as it's protected constitutional speech. Nothing that incites harm, nothing. You get that. I know you get it. Okay, so name of the candidate, Laura Mott. Name you go by, Laura. Office sought. Levy County Commissioner, District 4. That would be us, District 4. Otter Creek is in District 4. Educational background. I received my high school diploma from Chiefland and later started taking, well, maybe it's Chiefland. What's CFCC? That's not Creekside here in Otter Creek. It's got to be Chiefland, I'm guessing. And later started taking online college courses, but I didn't get a degree. Now, here's something I want to emphasize. If you're running, if you're running for an office, the very first thing is you focus on the positives. You never, ever put in there the negatives. How in the world did somebody convince her to put in there, oh, I started taking college courses, but then I didn't get a degree? I can't even fathom. I can't even fathom why your very first off question, you then go in to say, well, I'm a dropout. Well, this is exactly what happened in regards to mayorship of Otter Creek as well. Dropped out. Occupation, homemaker, community involvement. She says, my community involvement has mostly stayed inside Otter Creek. Now, I'm going to stop right there because I've seen no community involvement. What I have seen is gossip. I've seen gossip between her and Tina Haley. Oh, there's so many different names that start with the H, and it sounds like Hales here. And gossip between our new neighbors when we bought the schoolhouse and her creating conflict there as well. That's all I've ever seen. She does not show up to the meetings when she's not getting paid $100 a month for the meeting for that 1 hour or maybe more. Where's the involvement? I haven't seen it. I'm sure others haven't seen it either. So my community involvement has mostly stayed inside Otter Creek. She doesn't even show up to town hall meetings when she's not getting paid. Where's that involvement? If there was one place to be involved, it would be in town hall. It ain't happening. She says, I've always helped out where I can. That's odd because she didn't help out at Christmas in the Creek. Didn't even reach out to try and help out in Christmas in the Creek. 25% of the residents of Otter Creek, remember there's roughly 100, give or take a few, were there helping out at Christmas in the Creek. She wasn't. The biggest event that Otter Creek has probably seen in decades. She wasn't there. Taking phone calls from citizens and going to their homes. More like gossip is what it amounts to. I've made holiday dinners with the help of residents and delivered them around my community. And yet there was no meals whatsoever for Christmas in the Creek. And yet there were people from all over the United States coming in and helping and bringing meals. Not Laura Mott. That's why it's not for Mott, okay? My involvement might be small, but it's made a big impact. No, this is no joke. She literally says, my involvement may be small, but it's made a big impact. Where? Now, I would say Christmas in the Creek has made a big impact. I would not say that I know of any impact that Laura Mott has made except gossip and backbiting and talking behind people's backs. Now, she has every opportunity to prove me wrong as she serves on this town council. And frankly, if she was wise, she would attempt to prove me wrong instead of going out and gossiping and backstabbing. She would actually do something for this community.
Are you challenging her to debunk you?
Please, by all means, debunk me. Because there's no information that proves any of this thus far. Please, by all means, debunk me. I have no problem eating crow. I have no problem taking my words back and saying, I was wrong. But as of today, right now, I'm right. All right. My 3 top priorities. So she says, the question from the Chiefland citizen is, what are your 3 top priorities in your campaign? And she says, my 3 top priorities. I don't even know what they are. She literally says, these are my 3 top priorities, and she doesn't number them. All right. She says, I know our county is pressed with lack of manpower. Our first responders. Now, this is interesting because her boyfriend is a first responder. He's with EMS. And so while she was on the campaign trail, she kept getting the question, why are you living in sin? You're not married. You've been with this man for so many years. Now, that's a personal question for each individual to ask on their own because they ask me the same thing. They say, why are you and George not married? Well, it's a decision that I have made. Or it's a decision that she has made. Or it's a decision that we have made. And we have reasons. And in regards to those reasons, it's not made public. And so I don't think Laura Mott has to actually answer that question and make it public. So I believe this. I'm just going to share my personal belief in this. God created Adam and Eve. And God says, be fruitful and multiply. There was the first marriage. Was there a church? Nope. Was there a piece of paper? Nope. Yeah, no bridesmaids, no nothing.
No ceremony.
No ring.
No cake cutting.
So here's the reality. Culture has what we call marriage documents or marriage licenses. What it is a tax. God says, I want you two to be together, be fruitful and multiply and be faithful to one another. Our culture says, government says, oh yeah, that God thing, but we want your money. And here's the information that you'll get. And we'll say from the government that this is blessed or, it's ridiculousness is what it amounts to. It's a tax, okay? A marriage license is a tax. Now a ring is symbolism and that is cultural as well. Cutting the cake is symbolism. That is cultural as well. God created the first marriage. The first thing he ever ordained or what he said, this is what I want you to do, was the family unit. There was nobody there to marry them. It was before God. It was a covenant and a contract before God. Now I'm going to get back into this, okay? She says, my county is hard pressed with a lack of manpower for our first responders. She says this because of the man that she's with. Let me explain how about our first responders. Needless to say, it's not just our county though. The issue is nationwide. I guess Judge Grudge to Thomas's would have said it was the planet. She says nationwide. She goes on to say it sometimes can take an ambulance 40 minutes to be able to respond to a person in a life or death situation. Because did you know the county is down paramedics? I had no idea, but I know she's with one. All right, there is one deputy, and he has to cover grounds from Cedar Key to Yankeetown. And when it comes to fires, there's one firefighter to show up in an engine. And if you're really lucky, there might be 3 firefighters. And Florida House Rule 69A says 2 in, 2 out, meaning 4 firefighters go into the structure and 2 stay on the ground, ready for what might come next. And that is for safety reasons. Pressing issues on infrastructure I would like to accomplish. The most pressing issue is, well, let's just pause there. Let's get with the first responders, firefighters, EMS, the whole deal. Is she truly about this, okay? Is she seriously, truly about this in Otter Creek? What's the one thing that will increase this in Otter Creek? Otter Creek is incorporated. Therefore, Otter Creek legally must provide these services, which they cannot because their tax base is less than 100 people. So I hope she really means this. She means the only way to increase this presence in Otter Creek is to unincorporate. If she truly means this, the only way this gets fixed is to unincorporate, which means taxes go down for the residents of Otter Creek and services go up because they're provided by the county. Now, there are those naysayers out there that go, well, you may keep saying taxes go down, Jeremy, but once the services come into Otter Creek, your taxes are going to go up. Nope. It frustrates me, the foolishness. You know, one of the best things about YouTube is comments. And one of the most frustrating things about YouTube is ignorant comments. The county is capped at the level where they can tax. They can only tax so much, and it's countywide. The tax is where it's at. Otter Creek taxes go on top of that. It's stacked. It's sandwiched on. You take away Otter Creek taxes, county taxes are still maxed to where they can be. They ain't going up. Services must be provided now. So if she means it, that's what happens. That's how she proves it and debunks me. She's all for unincorporating if she really means this about services for the residents of Otter Creek. Now, I understand she was talking about the residents of Levy County as a whole, but she's not a commissioner for Levy County. She lost horribly. And so if she really wants to prove she's all about this, she's going to fight for unincorporation in Otter Creek so that our services go up and our taxes go down. All right, she also says the most pressing infrastructure are the roads. Now, I'm guessing this is point number 2, okay? So we got respondents, now we got roads. The most pressing infrastructure is the roads. The current roads, there are a lot of accident-prone areas that are high concern to me. Well, first of all, would be the area in Otter Creek at the intersection, which Judge DeThomas's is making me drive through on a daily basis, illegally. But I digress. The one on County Road 345 around Sweetwater Curve, Highway 41 just north of County Road 326, Highway 41 south of Williston, State Road 121, and County Road 326 near the Fire EMS Station 11, State Road 24 near Bronson Speedway, and the gas station. There are more than that too. Okay. There are roads that need resurfacing because they're not safe for anyone. All mentioning concerns the county and state. I hope to be able to get the county grants to fix our roads and work with the state to get these roads made safer for everyone. All right, so she wants to work on grants. She says she hopes to actually get these grants to take care of the roads. Well, there are already commissioners there that are working with the grants, and they can't even get the money. The roads are still in disrepair. They're doing the best they can. The money is held back. There are other issues. We went to a county meeting. Remember, I was actually notified by the deputy that there was a hit on me at this meeting. We still don't know how they knew we were there. But she's not going to do anything different than those that are already in there and doing it. I mean, they actually have experience. They're actually working with the grants already. She has none whatsoever. How's she going to change that? So, again, I'm going to say, here's the opportunity to debunk me. What is she doing for grants for Otter Creek? I mean, if she's so community-minded, if she's done such big things, or they've made such a big impact, why isn't there a light at the intersection in Otter Creek? Why are the roads in disrepair in Otter Creek? Why did Carl Hughes just have a massive accident with loose gravel on one of the roads in Otter Creek? What's she doing about all of this? And the answer is currently nothing. Okay. Health infrastructure, a healthy infrastructure for growth for our community. With our growing community, for example, Williston, which is getting more housing developments, and Chiefland with the growing RV parks, and also big housing developments, residents would like to see more amenities available to them. So she's now saying, I want to be a part of the growth, but wait. Don't think she's for growth. She says, oh, the residents want to see amenities. And then she goes on to say the exact opposite statement. And she says, I need to make this clear also. I am not for no build in our county. Okay? Not Vermont. I am not for no build in our county. I don't understand it, because then she goes on, I do not want to see homes, ranches, farms, agricultural land get demolished. What I do want to see is roads widened, more safety precautions, working with our county for county roads, and DOT with our state roads. All right, so I really hope you understand the issues, that those two things she just said, they don't mix. Oh, we have growth, and my people and the people in the county want to see amenities. And then she goes, I don't want to see any of that. So she's trying to literally say out of one corner of her mouth, well, I'm going to be there and we're going to provide amenities for you. On the other end, she goes, I'm not for this. This isn't going to happen. I just want better roads. No wonder she didn't get elected. Her communication isn't even clear or concise, or it's not even the same thing. It changes. It flip-flops. Oh, you want amenities? Oh, I'm not for growth. What differentiates you from your opponents? This is the question that the Chiefland citizen asked her. She says, the only part that might make me a better candidate, which again, horrible aspect of trying to get actually elected. She's literally saying there's only one part, and it only maybe make me a better candidate. Listen, when you're a candidate and you're running, you're going, this is what I'm going to do for you, and this is why I'm the best for you. This. Her, she's going, well, the only part that might make me a better candidate. Like, I can't even believe this, that somebody was running for a commissioner. Oh, maybe I should believe it. Otter Creek, the water. At any rate, the only part that might make me a better candidate is the fact that I've been a candidate before and failed. I've been on city council for 4 years. I'm a good listener. Okay. Town of Otter Creek wants good water. How many times do we have to keep saying that? Does anybody out there hear me? We need healthy water. Has anything happened? Nothing. I'm not a people pleaser, though. Although she was manipulated and used by Russ The Suss and Mary. I'm not going to sugarcoat or feed a line of, this is no joke, she said this in her campaign, feed a line of crap. Gee, I wonder why she didn't get elected. I'm not going to sugarcoat it or feed a line of crap. By the way, I don't sugarcoat. See, this is a woman that actually gossips behind people's back, backbites, tries to destroy people behind people's back. I tell it the way it is. I don't sugarcoat. I am forthcoming. I share the truth. I try and do things. This is an individual that has done very little. This is the individual that the last time that I saw her at town hall, which wasn't this past week, the time before, told me, I didn't give you permission to film me. In which I told her, I don't need your permission. My best recommendation to you is keep your mouth shut. And telling people that I'm not going to feed a line of crap, which is publicized, probably should have kept her mouth shut. Okay, I'm not going to tell people what they want to hear. I'm here for our citizens. All right, so we're going to take this in the same aspect of Don the Con. Don the Con, who has been elected to represent the citizens of Otter Creek, who's commonly and knowingly told me time and time again he does not represent me. Now, there are those who go, well, Jeremy, you're not a citizen of Otter Creek. Okay, well, if citizenship means that I must have residency here, which I do not, my residency is in Ohio, then no, I'm not a citizen. But that's not what a citizen is. Citizen is a person who owns land here and who dwells here, regardless of how many times or how much time in a given year. So a citizen is a person that's there. Do you understand a random citizen can be driving through your town? You need to represent them. Just because they don't own land there, they're still a citizen. So
Do
the
you
aspect
pay
of
taxes?
The aspect of, okay, we could go with paying taxes. Guess who one of the top 3 taxpayers in Otter Creek is? Me. How's Don the Con getting paid? Me. I'm a citizen, a tax-paying citizen. So what has Laura Mott done for me? Well, she's talked behind my back. She's gossiped. She's created more problems for us, gossiping and saying things that aren't true to neighbors. And the list can go on and on. But by all means, I'm ready to be debunked. Please, please, I'm ready to be debunked. And I'm ready to film everything that happens in town hall and to expose it and share it so that this place can actually get better. All right, we're going to keep going. I want to be here for our citizens through the good, the bad, and the ugly. George, do you think you're the good, the bad, or the ugly? I think she's referring to us. Are you the good, the bad, or the ugly?
It depends on the day.
I'm going to say you're the bad, I'm the ugly, and the chickens are the good. There we go. All right. And I want them to call, email, send messages through Facebook, send smoke signals. This is not a joke. In her campaign, she says, send her smoke signals. Not a joke.
Well, we're telling you not to contact anybody.
So here I am telling the whole world, oh wait, sorry, Judge DeThomas says, I apologize. The planet, don't contact anybody, including Laura Mott. It is not appropriate to ever contact her. Don't even send her smoke signals from wherever you are on the planet. Okay?
Or a note per pigeon.
Or a Hogwarts holler. None of those either. Okay? All right, let's keep going on. I'm here to listen to them, even if all they need is somebody to talk to because they're lonely.